way it's supposed to be rolling.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. It is now starting in the Facebook group.
Here we
That's
go.
good.
Hello.
Hopefully, let's see if it's live there.
I always wanted to be a video game streamer. This is as close as I'm ever going to get. I really did. I was like, I'll be the next Call of Duty like Twitch streamer, right? But no,
Yeah,
here we are. Let's talk about email
that's so
marketing
funny.
instead.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Okay, YouTube is live. Facebook page is live.
Hello.
Hello, Facebook page. Let's see. Is Facebook group live yet? That is not live yet. So I got to figure out why that's not going live. Um,
Okay.
so for anybody who's watching right now, which do I have a count? Okay, so I think there's 3 watching. 2 of them are me checking on YouTube and Facebook page. But we're just let this go for a little bit. If you're watching, share where you're watching from, because that's always fun. And while I check on the Facebook group and see why that's not going live yet. Share where you're watching from and what you're looking to
Yeah.
learn from Dawn today
Oh
about email
yeah.
marketing. And
Hello,
okay, let me just
everybody.
see. Let's try.
Trying to find my chat window here.
It says the live video is starting. Maybe it's not going to actually. Oh, wait. Maybe there. Come on. Did it start? Oh, there it goes. I think it's live on Facebook group now. Yay.
Are we?
There we go.
Did it work?
Yes,
Hello.
we're
With a
there.
2-minute delay.
That was, you know what?
Oh.
The way the Facebook group thing works, apparently it has to be exactly at the time you specify for it to actually go live.
Okay. That's something
So that,
Facebook would do. I can see
yep,
that.
yeah. Nice. And you know what? I don't need to use the laptop to check comments because it is showing me the comments on this other screen. Okay, I'm gonna close
Yeah.
that.
Okay. I still can't see them, but that might be a me
Yeah,
problem.
you're definitely not gonna see the comments from the Facebook group.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I can't see any
but
comments. Are there
yeah,
comments?
I'm gonna. There's nothing. There's one on the Facebook group. I will keep an eye on the others. Um,
Okay.
it's Morayo says yes. Hello, Morayo.
Hello.
Um, where are you watching from? So today's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be talking about email marketing, how it can be beneficial for your photography business. What some of the things that you should be doing, maybe some should not be doing. Wow, the delay is really big because you just waved on the Facebook group.
Really?
Oh
Oh
no,
man.
YouTube. On YouTube you just waved. So yeah, it is
Oh my
delayed
goodness.
by a lot. But that's okay. That's okay.
We're gonna do our best,
Um
guys.
yes. Luis is watching. Let's see. Luis just commented somewhere. Where did you just comment, Luis? I just saw it and then it disappeared. That's interesting. So weird. Okay. Okay. Well, this is going to be fun. It's been a while since we've done a live stream for Imagine. We've typically been doing the podcasts and pre-recorded videos and things like that. So this is like a fresh start for the whole live streaming
Yes.
thing. Basically, we stopped doing it when Facebook got rid of their API for groups.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's been a while. Um,
Come on, Facebook.
yeah. So to kick things off, for those watching, Jennifer just joined. Hi, Jennifer. If you have any questions for Dawn about email marketing, please hold on to those questions. If you want to throw it into the chat, I'm going to be monitoring the chat on the Facebook page, the Facebook group, and YouTube throughout this to bring up any questions. Miles is here. Hey, Miles. And I'm only going to interrupt Dawn if I absolutely have to. Otherwise, she will have a section for Q&A at some point, and we will get to it. Jennifer just waved as if we can see her. So
Hi,
that's
Jennifer.
great. Yeah, she's waving from Canada. That's where she's waving from. So
Hello.
um, Dawn, I have had the pleasure of knowing for quite some time at this point.
Mhm. Yes,
Dawn is was a photographer for quite some time,
I was.
has been teaching photographers for quite some time,
Mhm.
and more recently, it's not really new anymore, but you have joined Flowdesk as what is your official title?
My
Something with
official title,
education,
I run product education at Flowdesk.
product education.
So that's
Yeah.
my official title. I do a lot of things. I sit on deliverability team. I do all these workshops. I speak at conferences. I do all the things. So,
All the
but
things.
product education is my official title.
Yeah. Miles says, "Thank the Lord for Facebook for Flowdesk."
Yes,
Sorry, Miles,
also
I
for
just totally
Facebook, but
ruined
yes, for Flowdesk.
that. So, Dawn is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to email marketing and Flowdesk, of course. So,
Yes.
without further ado, Dawn, please share your screen,
I
share your
will do
knowledge
it.
with everybody.
Okay, none of my buttons on my screen are working.
None of your buttons are working.
None of the buttons are working here. Let's see what I can do about this.
Like in
Stand
Riverside,
by.
or you're talking like anything?
On Riverside.
Oh, interesting.
My chat button's not working. My screen share button's not working. Let me
Uh-oh.
try. I might have to refresh my screen here. So
Are you in
stand
Chrome?
by.
Are you in Chrome?
I'm on Chrome. Yes.
Okay.
I'm on Chrome.
We need
Yeah.
the
Okay. I'm gonna
elevator
refresh.
music.
I might disappear here.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're gonna disappear for a sec. Miles, I sort of hate emails, but Flowdesk makes this whole process so smooth and so pretty. That is very, very true. So Dawn's just refreshing her browser. She'll come back in a second. Oh, let me let her back in. Here she is.
Okay. There we go.
And you're
Trying
back.
again. There we go. Okay.
Yay.
So now I can share
Okay.
my screen.
Sweet.
There we go. Okay. We're gonna allow all the things here. Okay. I want.
And for those who can't stick around the whole time before she starts, yes, this is recorded. Yes, we will have this available as a replay for you to rewatch.
Yes. Perfect. Amazing. Can you see my screen? And I can see
We
the
s-
chat now.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hello. What a concept, guys.
Yep.
What a concept we have here. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Dawn. Please say hi in the chat to make sure my chat is working. You know, technology. I do run a company called Tech Savvy Creative, but things seem to, tech fails all around me sometimes. But hi, everybody. I'm Dawn, and I am the product education manager at Flowdesk. But more importantly to you guys, I am also a photographer. I'm a retired photographer, but I shot about 300 weddings here in the Texas Hill Country. And I did that for many years. It was about a decade of photography. I had, yes, of course, I had weddings. That was my niche. But thanks to email marketing, I was able to take my business up another 6 figures. And I'm going to tell you guys how I did that, but I'm also going to tell you what we're seeing from the inside perspective of Flowdesk and what is working really well for people today. Because email, even though, she has always been the queen, things are changing and you want to adapt and evolve. And today we're going to be talking about that. So again, for me and my business, my photography business, email was truly the queen. This was it. And the best part about my emails were I was able to have this whole extra part of my business that existed to nobody except my email list. And that little tiny group let me make additional 6 figures just from my email group. And I'm not sitting here saying I had like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Guys, I had like 300 subscribers. Like, we're not talking like a lot, like 10,000 subscribers. I had a really, really small group of subscribers, and they helped me grow my business exponentially. So why? Why are we talking about email? Sometimes it feels like the dinosaur of things, but truly it's the magic behind many marketing companies out there. Here's one, because email keeps you top of mind. Yes, social media is important. We want you to have more than one marketing channels, but email is something that most of us, I guarantee you guys in the chat, probably have checked it at least once today, right? Email keeps you top of mind, and it's often next to things that are very important in your life. My email contains, I had photo proofs for my daughter's school photos and a reminder from my dentist, and that is a special place in my world that important things fall, including important brands and other people that I want to follow. So email helps you stay top of mind. Like I mentioned just this minute ago, it also diversifies your channels. We're not saying that email should be your only channel out there, okay? Like, I'm not trying to be like, break up with Facebook, break up with all these things. No, it should be a part of your whole plan. And we're in a weird world, and these are some pretty old screenshots at this point, but we don't know what's going to happen to some of these social platforms, especially TikTok is still kind of in a weird limbo, and I don't know who owns it right now, what's happening to the algorithm. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of like a really weird, volatile place. And for any small business out there, not just photographers, but for them to lean fully into a platform that you don't have that full control over can be really scary. But with email marketing, you own your email list. And this is something that's very different from social media platforms, right? I can't go download my TikTok followers and upload them to Instagram, although that would be really cool. I can't do that. That's not possible. But in email, that list is yours. I can download it from one platform and upload it into Flowdesk. Or if I decide to go another direction, I can go download it from Flowdesk and upload it somewhere else. For me and my business, even though I have pivoted, I was able to take that list that I had for my photography business and download it, and I have it in a safe place. So if I ever decide that I want to relaunch sessions or if I want to do something for a fundraiser, I have my list ready to go that I can come back to that existed many years ago. So that's like something very unique and powerful that's very different from other marketing channels out there. Now, here's where things get really special with email. Because with email, you can connect to your audience on a deeper level. So, how can I do that though? Well, the secret sauce to email marketing is it allows you to send the right message to the right person at the right time. I can't take an Instagram post and say, only show this to moms of high school seniors, or only show this to potential brides, or only show this to people who have clicked on X, Y, and Z in the last 30 days, right? I can't do that. Maybe with some ad spend, I could work on getting those like niches down a little bit. But in the email space, this is the bread and butter. This is what makes it magical. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I do want to make sure I leave a bit of time for Q&A here at the end, but I am going to go through a couple of things with you just to kind of get you started and kind of get you reframing the idea of email marketing a little bit differently. I'm going to talk to you today about how to grow your list intentionally. We are in a world now that it's not about growing to a certain number. It's about growing in quality. And we're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to build relationships with the right emails, which is really the bread and butter of email marketing. And then we're also going to talk about good sending practices. Again, I mentioned I sit on the email deliverability team at Flowdesk. I know the insides and outsides of what's working, what's not working, where people are struggling. And I'm just going to be mentioning a few of those key things to make sure your emails are showing up where you want them to. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with growing our list intentionally. So I like to approach this very differently than a lot of people. In the past, past few years, it's always been about like, okay, like get X number of subscribers, get your first 1,000 subscribers, whatever that is. But we're in a different world where it's not as much about quantity anymore. We want to focus on quality subscribers. I would much rather have fewer quality subscribers than a ton of not so great ones. Okay. This is where it's really magical for photographers because you as a photographer have so many intimate connections with people. You meet with them one-on-one. I don't know if you're like me, but my clients became like part of my family. I wanted to hear about their next baby that was on the way or their sister that was getting married, all of these things. I became part of their family. So those quality relationships is really what helped my whole business thrive. And my email marketing is what was the machine behind that allowed me to do that. So when it comes to subscribers, we need them to opt in, okay? We need them to say, I agree to get marketing emails. You can't just find a list and upload it and say it's yours, okay? That's not how this works. You'll get caught pretty quickly and deprioritized in the inbox, so don't do that. So we have these different forms on our website, okay? And this is an example of a Flowdesk form here. And the goal with these forms is to get their email in exchange for something, right? I'll guarantee you guys, if you just put a thing on your website that says sign up for my emails, you probably won't get very many signups. They need a reason to sign up. What is it? Is it a discount? Is it early access? Is it a VIP list? Is it a guide? Is it some type of education? You have to give them a reason or something in exchange, okay? Now, I want to take this to the next level though. We've kind of all heard about this, the opt-ins and things, but I also want you to focus on using incentives that bring value to your subscriber, but more importantly, you. Okay. This is where people make mistakes with email marketing. Okay. Now, something that might be valuable for them. Okay. Early access to your sessions, whatever that be. VIP perks. Maybe they have access to sessions that are not available, or maybe they have access to other things that are not available to everybody else. Checklists, challenges, quizzes. My highest performing opt-in is a quiz, micro trainings, guides, discounts. That's the value for them. But I also want you to think of it this way. What's the value for you? Okay. If you have an opt-in and there's no value in it for you, then what's the point? Okay. We're not trying just to like load our list with random people. We want to build high quality and we want to build smart strategies. Okay. So things that this would be in turn for you. This tells me, what are they interested in? Are they more interested in a discount? Are they more interested in early access? Are they more interested in guides and other things like that? It lets me know who they are. I can use my forms to collect information about, are they a potential bride or a groom? Are they a high school senior, or are they an expected mother? Like, you can ask them questions about who they are and learn more about them. You can also learn what they're motivated by. Are they motivated by information? Are they motivated by seeing beautiful pictures in their inbox? This is going to help you drive your strategy down the line, not only in your email inbox, but also on your other channels as well. This also gives you insight to their pain points. What are the things that they're struggling with? Because if you have multiple opt-ins and there's one that's just getting all of these opt-ins, that's going to give you some really great insight to maybe you should focus your content strategy over here. This is something they really struggle with. You know, the first looks, the family photo posing, like, is it posing? Is it presets? Like, what are these different things that people are struggling with? And then you can double down on that strategy with the use of your forms. Also, offer value on autopilot. I cannot stress this enough, friends. Now, my example here is not a photography example. It's with my company, Tech Savvy Creative, but I created an opt-in, which is a quiz. Which Mac should you buy? Okay. I used to work for Apple. That's my jam. We can talk Apple stuff all day, right? But I got so tired of answering the same question in my DMs every single day, which was, what Mac should I buy? I need a new one. So I created a quiz. Okay, I created that quiz. It gives them a very detailed answer. I can update it every time Apple releases new products, and I don't have to answer the question anymore. That was the value for me, right? I was able to separate myself from my inbox. They have a very easy place to access this information, and I'm collecting great quality subscribers at the same time. So here's another example. This is a real form on my website, Tech Savvy Creative. So here's my form. Yes, I'm asking for their name and email because that's what I'm trying to collect. But when they opt in for this, I am understanding, I get the information that they're interested in learning about AI. This is something that's enticing to them, or maybe they're really intimidated by it. This could also be a pain point for them. And I'm also on this form asking questions about who they are. Are you a photographer? Are you a coach? Are you a designer? Because I want to tailor my message to the right person, okay? And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But if you tell me you're a photographer, I am going to tell you about the photography conference that I'm speaking at, or I'm going to tell you about this photography workshop that I have coming up. But if you tell me you're not a photographer, I'm not going to tell you about that, because I want to tailor my message to the right person. Okay, so I'm taking advantage of the generation process here, my list building process, to collect information to fuel my whole strategy. Now, before we go into some do's and don'ts about list building, one big mistake that I see across the board with creatives, photographers, and so on is they tend to have like one opt-in on their website and then they're done. They're like, okay, it's up, like it's there, it's a newsletter, whatever it is, right? But that doesn't give us the information we need. I want to encourage you to create as many forms with different offers, put them in different places, your Instagram stories and your ManyChat and your pop-up on your website and your footer, and experiment with these different types of opt-ins so you can see what works really well for you, okay? So please don't stop at just that one form. Make sure you're giving them a place to join you on your journey wherever they are. You need to meet your subscriber where they are. Okay, so a couple of do's and don'ts before we move on to the next session. Do not, please guys, emails are changing. The email world is changing. This used to be a pretty prominent thing. It is now a big no-no. Do not purchase your lists or use lists of subscribers that you did not obtain yourself. Okay? Photographers, I'm gonna have a heart to heart with you. Just because you attend a wedding fair doesn't mean you can take that list of everybody that came to the wedding fair and email them. They are not your subscribers, okay? Unless they came to your booth and they signed up on your form, they have not explicitly opted into your company. Okay. You will lose trust with people. It is very bad in the email world if you start getting complaints because you are you are emailing people and they did not give you consent. That will significantly damage your sender reputation and you will not show up in inboxes. So please do not use lists that you did not explicitly attain yourself. Also, be very careful when moving subscribers from one brand to another, okay? Photographers are very notorious for having a pivot somewhere, whether it's going from like a wedding world to a different world, or even like one business to an education business. Or like me, I went from wedding photography to tech savvy creative. Just because you have that list of subscribers for your photography business does not mean they have subscribed to your new business as well, okay? You can't just transfer them over and say that they're yours, okay? You need to understand that they have opted in for one business. They will need to re-opt in for the second business. Like I said, I took my email list for my photography business. I downloaded it. It's safe. I did send them an email before I moved over to the Tech Savvy brand saying, hey, if you want to join me here, here's a way you can click on join my newsletter over on the Tech Savvy side. And many of them did, and that's perfect. But you want to make sure you're not just moving them around just because you happen to have a list somewhere. And also use caution with low quality subscriber opportunities, okay? Photographers, we are part of this all of the time, and I'm still part of these sometimes. But we talk about bundles. We talk about like networks, creator networks where you follow all these people. There used to be like these little follow loops and things that we did. We have to be really, really careful, okay? We want to, oh, sorry guys, let me turn on my do not disturb real quick. We want to make sure that we are not obtaining these not so great subscribers, because a lot of times when we're in these bundles, we are not getting people that are actually there for us. They're getting people because they wanted the thing that they bought, okay? What happens is they become dormant, they become unengaged, and that does nothing but hurt your list and you're going to kick them off anyway. So use caution. Don't use that like, oh, I'm going to get so many subscribers out of this as your reason to do something. Make sure you have other reasons as well. Now, list building do's, things I want you to do to build your list the right way. I want you to use forms to get that explicit consent, okay? You need to have that consent, not them telling somebody else that you have consent. You need to have that consent. I also want to encourage you to turn on double opt-in. So this is where when somebody fills out the form, they have to go to their email to say like, I confirm, and then they are added to your email list. Yes, it is an extra step, but it does ensure that people who actually want to be there are the ones who are there. This also prevents any bots from crawling your website and like subscribing. Sometimes we get people that like all of a sudden end up with like thousands of, like thousands of subscribers, like because they were like bot clicks and stuff like that. We don't want that, right? So that double opt-in prevents that. And this is that big piece that we're going to talk about next, is using segmentation so you can send the right message to the right person. Now, before I jump into that, Scott, is there any questions that I'm missing? Are we good?
There are questions, but I think they could all wait until.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. They're all coming to the
can't
Facebook
see
group.
The live chat.
Yeah. Most of the people watching are watching from the Facebook group, which we're not going to see the chat.
Cool.
In Riverside.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Stop me if you see something that's relevant. All right. All right. So let's talk about building the relationships with the right emails. And guys, this is the secret sauce. Okay. This is what made my business so much money in the photography world. We are building these relationships. We have this intimate glimpse into their lives, right? Whether it's a new family member or taking pictures with a family member that they know that they might never have the opportunity to again, or a new phase of their life or their wedding or whatever it is. We are building relationships in our photography business. And you can also do that in the inbox. So first and foremost, people sign up. That starts the momentum, okay? They fill out the form. Do not let it stop here. First and foremost, you want to deliver or confirm whatever they ask for, okay? And this applies to other forms on your website as well. We're talking about marketing right now, but if you have like a contact form, make sure you have some type of automatic confirmation right away. What we're learning is the current generation really thrives on that instant verification that they got something, right? So even if it's a, hey, we got your inquiry, we'll be in touch with you in the next 48 hours, just that confirmation makes them feel like it went through, okay? A lot of times if you don't get a confirmation, you're like, did it work? Like you want to make sure that they are getting what they asked for. So even if they filled out a something for your newsletter and your newsletter doesn't come out for 3 weeks, make sure that right away you are delivering a, hey, you're on the list. I'll be sending this is when I'm going to send the next emails, just to build that confidence with them and also encourage them to go to their inbox because you want them to open and engage with your emails. So once you deliver what they've asked for, you want to nurture them. Okay. We've all heard about the welcome workflows. This is going to look different for every business. And for my photography business, it looked very different. Okay. But my idea is I want to introduce them to who I am, or if they're already on my list and they sign up for something, I don't want to be like, hello, my name is Dawn, right? They're like, duh, I've been here for 3 years. I want to say like, oh, this person already exists on my list. I want to say, hey, how have you been? Right? I want to give them a different message that really kind of just ingrains the fact that I've already connected with them and that I'm still excited that they're here. Okay. So I want to use my welcomes, my workflows, my automations to really tailor to that message. This is just a example of like a high level welcome workflow. This is what mine looks like at Tech Savvy. I say hello. I introduce myself if we're new. I check in with them if they have been here before and tell them what's new in my world. I try to offer them a quick win. So photography world, this might be a little different. This might be a tip for your session, right? This might be like a 3 mistakes that I made when I was planning my engagement session or something like that. You want to give them a win and something tangible that they can link onto. You can also try telling them a story, okay? Tell them a story about some like a problem that somebody had and how you fixed it. Or maybe talking about, like if we're talking about products and stuff, you're priming them at this point in time of like how you have your grandmother's wedding album and how it's like your most prized possession. Like tell them a story and connect with them in a way that is also teeing up your business very nicely. And then when it's appropriate, send the right offer, right? So if they're there, it's kind of like a general thing. Maybe there's just like some sessions that you do offer. If you don't offer like sessions that anybody can like, sign up for, like for me, like I was weddings only. So I didn't offer sessions to the public that were not for wedding photography. So I was like, hey, like if you know somebody that's getting married or if you're getting married, like this is what we do. Like here's how to get started in that process. Now, from here, though, is I want to continue the connection with consistent and tailored emails. Keyword is consistent and tailored, okay? It is not my goal with email marketing to blast every message to every person. That is not my goal, okay? I want to send very tailored emails because, for example, I'm going to show you this example here in a second, but if I know that somebody's dream location would be a studio and I am launching mini sessions at my studio, guess who's getting an email from me, right? I want to send it. And I don't want to send that email to people who already booked the session, right? Anybody ever like bought something and then you get an email like a few days later that's like, you should buy this thing that you just bought? Like that's a really quick way to like break the trust and damage that relationship you're trying to build. So we want to use our segments. We want to use our strategy, what we're learning about all of these different people coming onto our list to send them relevant messages. Now, if you need some ideas, here's quite a few. Please screenshot this, and Scott. I'm happy to give you the slides if your community wants them. Happy to do that. But some ideas to keep things consistent. Okay, newsletters, industry updates, new offers. I followed somebody a long time ago that did like a wedding Wednesday, and she just talked about like she shared beautiful photos and she talked about like some funny story or like something that happened on the wedding day. It was like the best way to see her photos, but also get to know her as a person, which was really cool. You can feature them, you can have downloads, recommendations, so on and so on and so on. For me at Tech Savvy Creative, whenever something crazy happens or there's a security update that we need to talk about or somebody that I love is having a really great opportunity or sale, that is when I am launching these different emails. The same applies for me. Again, I help creatives find the right tools for them at Tech Savvy Creative. So whenever Apple launches new products, like they did last week, if they launch a new MacBook Pro, well, I have a whole list of subscribers that got MacBook Pro as their answer on a quiz. Somebody's about to get an email from me, right? That's how I'm using my list to my advantage to build that trust with them, to show them that I'm following what's in the industry, and then they can rely on me to be that source of knowledge when they need it. So with our emails, we can use our content to bring more value to them, but also use it to learn more about them. That's the whole thing here. If you're building all of these strategies to just like get them in the door, it's not going to be valuable. It has to be valuable to you and your business as well. So in Flowdesk, this is also available on other platforms, but we have the ability to use something called a link action. So if they click on a blog or if they click on a product, you can tag them into a segment. So you are creating that like list of people that are interested in X, Y, and Z. This in turn creates these really cool segments. So this is what my segments look like, but I can see who's interested in tutorials, who's interested in Flowdesk, who's interested in education or shop updates. And whenever I have those things that are relevant, they can come in. I can use that segment to send that targeted email. This is one of my personal favorites, which is the poll block in Flowdesk. So I can run a poll in my emails, and when they click on it, it will actually show the answers and like what people voted for. But this is so, so helpful. I can say like, what's your dream location? And I can give them a few different options. Well, when they click on the option that they like, it'll tag them with that segment. So again, when I have a session available or mini sessions available or whatever it is available in that polished garden with lots of greenery, guess who's getting an email from me, right? I want to first and foremost send the email to those I want to target, which are those people that have already told me this is what they dream of. And I can play into that. I can lean into that like, hey, you know, you've waited for this. This is something you've always wanted. Here is your opportunity. This is the only time we're doing it this year. So I'm building those connections with my emails and how they're clicking. Now, I'm sure we'll talk about this in the Q&A because it's a very hot topic in the world, but we also want to make sure people actually get your emails. And I want to kind of turn this on its head a little bit. In the past, it was just kind of like we sent the emails and we hope for the best, right? But the world of email deliverability is constantly changing. And when I say deliverability, I'm not just talking about did it make it out of your email provider and into wherever, right? Email deliverability means it landed in the inbox or the promotions tab, not in the spam folder or blocked altogether, right? We want to be able to get our emails seen. And it's not helpful if our emails are sitting in the spam folder. So the goal with this is what's called sender reputation. Think of this like your credit score, like you have this number that kind of follows your domain, right? And there's things that we need to do to make sure that our sender reputation is great. First and foremost, you need to be using a custom domain email. So this is an email that does not end in @gmail.com or @yahoo.com. You need to be using an email address that ends in your domain name. That is first and foremost the important step. And from there, you want to authenticate it, okay? This is going to look different on every platform you're on. This is a screenshot from Flowdesk. We do make it pretty easy to get it authenticated, but this is going to be your first line of defense. All spammers, most of the scammers out there are using free email addresses. So that is kind of the first line of defense for these inboxes to make sure you're somebody that they actually want in your inbox, okay? Now we're coming back to the quality, okay? This is so, so important. And Google has made this very clear to us that this is the most important factor now, okay? If you, let's say for example, you are sending an email to 1,000 people and 100 of them open it, okay? Google sees patterns, okay? They don't see open rates and things like that, but they see patterns. They see that only a small percentage of people wanted this email, so it must not be valuable, right? So they put you in a place where not so valuable emails go, which is in a tab that you don't want to be in or the spam folder, right? But if instead you only sent the emails to those 100 people and Google sees the pattern that everybody who got the email actually wanted it, that is going to change your placement. Everybody wanted this email. It must be really valuable content. They want you to prioritize valuable content, and that means you need to prioritize sending to engaged subscribers. So even if your mom is on your list or whoever it is not opening your emails, we need to stop sending those emails to those people, okay? Some people recommend deleting them. Some people recommend unsubscribing them. I simply just move them to a different segment called cold segment. I make sure my world is in a very healthy place before I try to reintroduce them. But I want to make sure I'm building my sender reputation by sending to my most engaged audiences first. So that is my first priority, and I'm going to use list cleaning to do this. In the past, when I started these workshops, I'd be like, oh, every 6 months is fine. But because this has become such a huge priority to Google and other inboxes, I would say monthly at the bare minimum. Next, inboxes do not like surprises. So if you are somebody that has an email list and then November comes around and you're like, oh yeah, I have an email list. I haven't emailed them all year, but I'm going to email them on Black Friday. Well, my friends, you have just earned yourself a one-way ticket to the spam folder, okay? Inbox providers do not like surprises. If you have moved to a new platform, if you haven't emailed in a while, if you're having issues with spam, or if you are, like you've added a new email address, like a new domain, you want to do something called warming your domain. You want to build up that trust over time, okay? Start with a small email, 50 people. Grow it to 150 the second time, 400 the next time, 700, and so on. You want to gradually increase that volume rather than just shocking the inbox, okay? Even if you have a launch coming up, maybe you are consistently sending, but you have a big launch coming up and you want to send more, work up to that new volume that you're trying to get to rather than just going from your normal volume to that quadruple volume. That spike will be seen as malicious behavior by inbox providers, okay? They're in the business of protecting their users, and that type of behavior can be really dangerous, and they're gonna instantly suppress you. So we don't want that. We wanna slowly build that up so they can trust you as you increase your volume. And once you do that, send consistently, okay? At this point in time, it's about 4 to 6 weeks before domains go cold. So at a very bare minimum, please email your audience at least once a month, okay? And this is a relatively new one, but very important. Short links at this point in time are being completely blocked. And, you know, at first when we saw this, we were like, there's no way. Google would not block their own website, which is YouTube, right? There's no way. But we did an analysis on the billions of emails coming out of our platform, and we saw it very, very, very clearly that any email that contained a short link, so a link that redirected to something else, was being flagged. And we dove a little bit deeper and we learned that there are ways for hackers to hack where it goes to, and that's why it's concerning. So if you're using any of these links, please stop. You are probably not landing in the inbox. You will land in the spam folder with this lovely red message at the top that says there's a dangerous link inside. Use the full link instead. So on YouTube, if you have a YouTube video you want to share, open the video, get the full URL from the top, and that's the link you want to include in your email. Now we're going to jump into Q&A here in a second, but if you remember one thing from today, let it be this: you do not need a huge list to make email work. That your small, healthy, segmented, and engaged one will bring you incredible, incredible relationships, and that leads to more money and more revenue for you. So remember that it's not about the number, it's about getting quality people in there and connecting with them. And now we have Q&A time, and please, let's hang out online. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at It's Dawn Richardson. And if you want to join my newsletter, you can join at techsavvycreative.com/newsletter. And online on the Instagram and Threads space, I'm very active. I'm answering a lot of Flowdesk questions every day. And also I am relaying things to the team. So if you ever have anything you want me to pass along to the team, I'm more than happy to do that for you. All right.
Amazing.
What you got for me, Scott?
Oh man, there's some good stuff going on. I am so I have to copy and paste these because of the way that Facebook group is working right now. But so we got Jennifer says even guides aren't getting her subscribers anymore.
Yeah, it's changing. It's changing. So that's why it tends to be like, for me, things that outperform, like guides, PDFs, things like that, are always the early access, the first dibs. And for me in my business, I didn't talk too much about this, but like I offered sessions only to my past wedding couples. And so like when after their wedding, they kind of went through this email series of like, you are now a Donna Elizabeth Studios VIP. You have access to maternity sessions. You have access to family sessions, Christmas card photos, but nobody else does. Right. And that was allowing me to build that experience. So it's not always like the opt-in, right? Like the people that you're already working with could very well be the people that you're building your list with. And that's okay, right? They are still like that return process is going to bring you great success as well. And everybody's audience is a little different. One thing too, I recommend if you do want to go down the guides type narrative or that type of sharing opportunity, build it on your website. Don't send PDFs. That's something that I feel like is really kind of starting to phase out. Build them a live web page that you can update, right? Like if you do a style guide, which is a very popular one for a long time, build it as a web page that's kind of behind like some funky URL or whatever. And then whenever you have a great session and that, that guy was dressed so great, you can update that style guide with your most recent stuff. You're not updating things that are like, you can't update anymore like a PDF.
One of the nice things about doing that is you can make it really interactive.
Oh, yes.
Really interactive.
It's so great. And that's what I do with mine. Even like a challenge, like an email challenge that doesn't like require anything. One of my friends has tens of thousands of subscribers in a affirmations like opt-in, and she literally just sends one email a day for 30 days with like an affirmation for small business owners. Like you don't have to overthink it, right? Like it's really small. She has one quote, the same email, it just changes the quote, it goes out every day, and she has people repeating it. So it doesn't have to be this huge grand thing, but you just want to make it something that people can bookmark, that people want to come back to. And that's how I do like my AI toolkit and stuff. It's all a web page that I can update at any point in time. So big fan of that for sure.
The next two are related. Miles, who had to hop off, but he said, connecting this form, Flowdesk, to ManyChat has been a huge game changer for us.
So cool.
Great. Jennifer replied to that. What is ManyChat?
What is ManyChat? That's a great question. So Jennifer, have you ever seen like on an Instagram post where it says like comment guide and I will send you X, Y, and Z? That program behind that is called ManyChat, and it essentially allows you to automate your DMs. So if somebody comments guide on my post, I will not only send them a DM with a link to the guide or asking them for your email, because there's a Flowdesk integration now, but I could also have it automatically reply to her comment and be like, check your inbox, it's on the way. So that's really cool. I have it all over mine. So if you even go to my Instagram, like the quiz, one of my pinned posts up there, like, that's all ManyChat. Like I have not touched that post in a very long time, and ManyChat is just sending it out for me. It's pretty cool.
I'm going to throw into the chat, there's an article that I did that compares 3 tools, including ManyChat, that do the same thing. ManyChat is the only of all of them available that has direct integration with Flowdesk. But I actually use the others and use a third-party tool. Like there's a Zapier, there's AutoKit, there's Pabbly. I use a third-party tool to connect the alternatives to Flowdesk. So I'm going to share that link.
Please do. And Scott, send those our way. We can send them to our business developer to see if we can get some integrations going. Yes.
All right. So I just threw that link. Feel free to check that out, Jennifer. I threw that link in the chat. Morayo says, I have 2 brands, a wedding brand and a portrait brand. Okay. After the wedding, I'd like to move folks over from the wedding side of things to the portrait side of things. What's a good way to move folks over?
Are we talking 2 different accounts here, or is it within one account?
That's a very good question.
It depends.
Morayo, if you're still watching, please share. Is it 1 account or is it 2?
I can answer both ways. How about that?
Let's start with the simpler, which I think would be 1 account.
1 account. Yeah. So at that point in time, like if they have reached a certain time, or it could be whatever it is, like something that we're working on internally, surprise, spoiler alert here, are formatted custom fields. So you can have real dates in there and you can take action based off of dates. So down the line, there's going to be a world where you can say like, this is their wedding date. After this date has come, then automatically add them to this segment. right now you could do that either manually. I used to do that with Zapier. Like as soon as their project moved from, like in progress to complete in Sprout Studio, Zapier added them to the
Yeah.
completed wedding segment in
I
Flowdesk.
do the
So,
same thing.
yep. So that's how I did it. But there are more, less Zapier ways to do that coming. But if there are two separate accounts, I think you would have to do the third party to get them from one to the other. Um, or if you give them the opportunity to like fill out the form, if you want them to opt into that opportunity, you can do that too by being like, hey, like it was so great to get access to your VIP perks and your portraits. Like here, you can sign up here, and I have them actually fill out the form to that second brand if they are two different accounts.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the approach of when it's two separate accounts of literally saying, "Hey, I'd love to keep keep in touch about any portrait specials I have going on. If you're interested,
Yes.
click here," and then have them sort of re-sign up. I like
Sure.
that approach for
Yeah.
the.
What?
All
Yeah.
right. And Mario did say two completely different brands. So and then
Yeah, I would do
OMG,
it that
yes.
way. I would do it
Yeah.
that way then. Give them the opportunity, especially because like in the wedding world, like sometimes you have clients that don't live here. Like
Yeah.
me sending them information about portrait sessions will not be relevant if they don't live
Right.
near me, you know?
True.
So that
True.
gives them the opportunity. It also gives you the opportunity to not include a link to that. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't
Yep.
want to.
Yep. Yep. All right. I'm still not seeing any other questions outside of the Facebook group, so I'm going to keep going with the Facebook group ones. Mario just said my wedding brand is in Mailchimp and my portrait is in Flowdesk because I don't know how to quit Mailchimp yet.
Well, we're happy to help you with that. Yeah, I would be using that. Like, send them a link to a Flowdesk opt-in. It's like,
Yeah.
you're a VIP now. Click here
Yeah.
to sign up for these updates, and they would essentially get them onto that list. You could do it via like Zapier, whatever CRM you're using. Like when they go to the completed stage, then send their email address over, assuming you have consent, obviously. But
Right.
yeah, I think it's going to be unique depending on all of those platforms and stuff.
Cool. Jennifer, we got like 10, 15 minutes left. Okay.
Yeah.
Right now we have 3 more left.
Okay.
We'll see if we get more. Jennifer says, what do you do if you already have a large list, but never ask for information, so it is difficult to create segments? This is a great, I see this a lot.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna get started today. Okay, so yes, the giant list of everything is really intimidating. Okay, there's a lot of ways to segment. I actually did a whole workshop on this. So if you go to Flowdesk YouTube, you can find our segmentation workshop replay if you want to check that out. But first of all, you want to add those options to the forms you do have right now. Okay, so anybody coming in at that point forward you'll have some segmentation. Okay, that's one way to do it. Sending emails, you can do it. It's going to be a little bit harder because you have to get people to click and to use these polls and these buttons and things like that, but you can get a little bit. I also would not discredit searching your emails. Also depending on what you do. Photographers follow photographers, right? If I go into my list and I just search for photography, I guarantee you I'm going to find a whole bunch of people that I'm going to be able to tag as a photographer, right? Yep.
I'm in there.
So when, it's been really easy. I started segmenting my list and I'm like, you know what? There's probably a better way to do that. And I just like put in like photography, and then I had like 400 people pop up that had that in their domain name. And I was like, well, you are a photographer, putting you here. And I searched for designs, and I'm like, okay, like designers, like, you can search for like little things like that to help start segmenting your list a little bit. But from there, it's going to be a lot of interaction, and you might just kind of have these like a list of people that you don't really know who they are. And just, use them with caution, email them, see if you can get them to click so you can get them to segment. But when they're clicking, you want to make sure that you're sending them somewhere valuable, right? You have to give them a reason to click. So if they are, for example, I might send something about like my favorite locations in San Antonio. I'm in San Antonio. And if they click on it, I can make an assumption that they're probably in San Antonio if they're interested in this kind of content, right? So it's not going to be a perfect system, but it's something just to get me started. And from there, I will continue to target those audiences, even if they're smaller. And as I find more people, I might do a little bit of manual segmenting. But even segments based off of their like engagement rate is really valuable. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be like what they're interested in, right? I can
Yeah.
create a segment based off of like who has opened or who has opened 100% of my emails, or who has interacted in my emails in the last 7 days, right? I can build lists based like that. So I'm not just focused on like who they are, but more of like how often they're interacting and leaning into
Yeah.
that engagement as well.
I have a real world example of what I just did on March 2nd that I'm speaking at an online event that I think it starts March 30th. It's
Mhm.
it's pre-recorded
Yeah,
content from all the speakers. Um, and the entire audience are senior portrait photographers.
there you go.
I do not have senior portrait photographers as a segment on my list of photographers.
Mhm.
So what I did is I sent out an email to all the photographers on my list. And basically it was, if you are a senior portrait photographer, read this. If you're not, ignore this. And at the end of the day, that's what it came down to. And it said, if you are a senior portrait photographer, click here and let me know. I have something big coming up. I'd love to tell you about it. If they clicked it, I have one of the auto triggers in Flowdesk that added them to the senior portrait photographer segment that I created in my account. And now the rest of the emails I'm sending throughout the month are only going to those people.
Awesome.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a way that you have to sort of sneakily send an email to get them to acknowledge what you want to learn about them, to get them into the segments that you don't have yet.
Yes. I
So,
love that.
yeah. Jennifer, I hope that helped. Okay. Ben Lau. What's up, Ben?
Hi, Ben.
What kind of open rates should we be aiming for? Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Good question. Okay. So industry average last year, about 30 to 35% was about the average last year. And click rate, anything over 2 is normally stellar. Okay. So the numbers are a lot lower than what people think. However, these are still a lot higher than average engagement rates on like Instagram, and other social media posts. So we have to take that with a grain of salt, right? All that to say, when you are doing email marketing very well with best practices, you are leaning into an engaged audience, you are sending targeted content. We've seen 80s to 90s. Okay. So it's possible. And I'm not talking about like 80% on 100 people. Like we sent an email out of our own platform. We use our own platform. Flowdesk uses Flowdesk to send emails, right? We sent an email to, it was like 75,000 people, and it had like a 75% open rate on it and like a 12% click rate. Like, okay. Like, so when you lean into those practices, you can get a lot higher than the average.
Yeah.
So for me though, if any of my emails ever dip below that average, which is about that 30% mark, I am pausing. I am trying to either target my audience a little bit better or clean up my list a little bit more, because if I get into the teens in that area, I'm going to start to see a hit to my sender reputation, and I don't want to get there. So I tend to use that as my like point in time of like when I'm stopping and like either cleaning or reevaluating who I'm sending to.
Yeah. I think it's also worth noting that the relevance of the email you're sending and the audience who's receiving it makes a big factor, and also the size, right? So
Mhm.
for me, going back to that senior portrait initial email that I sent, I was expecting a low open rate because they're not all senior portrait photographers.
Right.
And now that I've sent out the first one just to the senior portrait segment, and it's an 80% open rate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're talking, it's highly relevant to the people who literally asked for it.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, it's
It
30.
all comes down to the valuable email. Are you sending
Yeah.
valuable content?
Yep. Okay. Next one. Ben also said, going back to, because he he had an uh-oh moment when you're
Uh-oh.
talking about like Bitly links and short
Oh,
links.
yeah. Yeah.
How about, so he says, how about like click here, and then insert the link at, okay, I think he's saying like, instead of having like a button saying like click here and like that link is to the text.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, you can. We just don't want the like. Yeah, you don't have to expose the link. Is that what you're asking? Like the link itself does not have to be in the text.
Yeah.
You can use like a linked piece of text or a button. That's fine as long as the link behind it is not a Bitly or a short link, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's totally fine.
Jennifer says, can I have multiple email lists in Flowdesk?
Oh, sure. You can have so okay, hold on.
But she's saying not segments.
Okay. So you can have one brand per account. Okay. So we have one brand per account. Now, for me, when I had like my weddings and my portraits, it was still me, like it was the same brand. I was able to separate and distinguish those people based off of like segmentation. But if you want like two fully separate brands, you'll need two fully separate accounts, like separate accounts.
Yep. All right. The last one is from Ben Lau again. He says, as we were going to wrap this up, if there are any final questions, please throw them into the chat. It's funny how all the questions are coming from the Facebook group. I was not expecting that, honestly. Let me just double check. Yeah, all of them are coming from the Facebook group. That's so funny. Ben said, so yeah, if you have any final questions or comments you'd like to share, please throw them into the chat. We will get to it before we wrap up. So Ben Lau says, I'm also thinking email headers too. Good copywriting matters. Can you dive into, there's such a thing as a subject line, and then there's a pre-header.
Oh, you're talking about the preview text?
The preview text.
Mm-hmm.
Can you dive into that? Like,
sure. Yeah. So
is it really that important? How important is it? That kind of stuff.
Yes. So, okay. On the spectrum of importance, it is important, but it's not going to be the thing that makes or breaks you. Okay. So, for example, if you had stellar subject lines and preview text, but you're doing all of the other deliverability practices poorly, like it's not going to save you. Okay. Now, the subject line in the preview text does encourage people to open it, right? So you want it to be clear and you don't want it to be deceptive. Okay. We had a few incidences recently where we had some really deceptive subject lines. Okay. We don't want that. That's illegal. Please don't do that. We want to encourage people and let them know that this is valuable to them. So you're crafting your subject line and your preview text is an important part of that. Yes, it is. Now, we get kind of mixed feedback on certain things in subject lines. Like if you do like the all word, like all caps, like sale ends today, like you're very likely going to be targeted as a promotion just because it's very obvious.
Yeah.
So there's some things, and we actually are pulling a new, we did a marketing trends report in 2024 and we're repulling those stats for updated stats to make sure that they're the same. Like one thing that we've seen is a emoji in the subject line does not hurt as long as you're not using it to replace a word. So that's where it kind of gets iffy. Also, It's a little questionable if there's emojis on the front and the back, but if it's on one or the other, it doesn't impact. Yeah. So like little things like that, like use them to enhance, not to replace.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know if it's more for those who do use emojis, because I dabble with using it in a subject line. Yeah. I'd be curious to know, does it perform better if it is before or after?
Well, we're pulling those metrics for you right now.
That'll be so interesting.
We have them pulled. we send over 1 billion emails a month, so there's a lot of emails to pull through for like analysis on this. But but we're looking, but the one I did see that it took a pretty significant hit was when it had it before and after.
Really that does look more spammy,
so, right? Or if it's being used to replace the word. So that's where we don't want to do that.
You're going to heart this.
Subject line does matter, but it's not the end all be all. But
you're going to heart this.
Yes. Like, it's gonna read it as you're going to this.
Yeah.
Which is
you are going to this. Yeah.
But you want to be, you want
Um,
to encourage people. You want it to be clear.
yeah.
I can tell you right now, my highest performing subject line ever was it was the subject line was no pants required. It was people were like, what is she talking about, right?
Was it a
And it just
COVID
kind of
email?
caught attention. It was for Voxer coaching because there's no
Voxer.
video. It's just
What's
voice. Like Voxer's like a
Oh.
walkie-talkie app.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was just like, you can just show up and
Yeah.
just talk to me. You don't have to like
Yeah.
be on screen or anything. And it was my
Yeah.
highest. I made thousands of dollars off of that email.
Nice.
But it was a subject line that just like caught attention, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't deceptive. It was very relevant to what I was saying. So they do make an impact. They do matter, and not having it can be a red flag. So you want to make sure that you're including them. Um, yes, and we in Flowdesk make sure that you can't have like too long of either of those things. So just making sure they're within the boundaries as well.
Great. So I had a pile of questions just in case others
Oh
didn't
yeah.
ask, and I'm actually so glad I didn't have to get to them because I wanted everybody else to ask questions. But there are two more comments that I want to share before we wrap this up. One more from Jennifer. She said it was related to her last question. I only have one brand, but I need different email lists within my brand because of the high volume work I do with the dance studio. My recommendation, because I have one Flowdesk account and I have photographers, and then I also have clients all in the
Mhm.
one account.
Yep.
I basically have segments
Mhm.
for each, right?
Yep.
So I have like photographers, then I have photographers senior portraits, then I have like photographers real estate, and like whatever it is that I'm teaching under the photography branch, I have as segments with like a photographer hyphenated whatever. But then I also have like proposals and proposal leads, proposal clients, and so on, so on, so on. And then when I was doing families, family leads, family clients, and so on. So you can have it all in one. You just have to rethink how you're segmenting to sort of
Mhm.
make it as if it's multiple lists. But the beauty
Yes.
is it's one, and you can just segment
Yes.
with your emails to multiple segments, which is nice.
Yes, I would do exactly that. I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of email subscribers in our account, and we use segments to break them apart. So,
Yeah.
I would do that. And when you're sending an email, if you need it to be sent to one of those lists, you just make sure that you choose that segment for that list.
Yeah, exactly. And then Ben says, this is related to your subject line. He says, my highest performance line was, quote, and he did it without shoes.
There we go. See? It's all
Um,
about catching attention, right? It's
yeah,
about touching attention. And I mean, that also makes you a good storyteller, right? People are
yeah,
connecting and building that relationship with you for that reason. So
yeah,
things like that will always perform better than like sale ends tomorrow, right?
yeah. Ben is a very good storyteller. I always love watching him speak, and he finds a way to get something across. The one that stands out to me even to this day, which I think he used it for the first time 2 years ago at this point, was oh man, Ben, what was it? Oh man, now I'm drawing a blank. It was pineapple on pizza. It was like talking about business. Oh,
Yeah.
he's saying, "Oh, just you wait, sir." He was talking about business and having choices, and not everybody's going to want what you do. It's like people who like pineapple on pizza, and
Right.
just the way that he told this, he's got a way with storytelling
That's so
to
smart.
make it relatable.
I
So,
love it. Yes, exactly.
Jennifer says, Dawn, your opt-in confirmation page, the link for IG leads her to a blank account. So you might have to check
Oh
that.
yeah, I just changed that. Thank you.
So everybody who was watching live, thank you so much. Thanks for asking your questions, sharing in comments and whatnot. The replay again is going to be available. Dawn, thank you so much for hanging out, sharing
Yeah,
your knowledge,
anytime.
answering questions. Always a pleasure.
Always. And I can't wait to
Yes.
connect with everybody else outside. I'm also in the Imagine group because I use
Yep.
Imagine every day. So I'm in there. So say hey, and love to get to know you all a little bit more. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Yeah. And for those watching the replay in the Facebook group, please, if you've got additional questions, feel free to ask the questions. And if Dawn doesn't see it, I'll ping her about it.
Just tag
So,
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in there.
So, thank you, everybody.